Rohuba, Moisa, Rita's family, welcome you all to another Wu-Sabat class. And today's class is entitled, What Advancements Have We Made in 22, I missed out the half bit, 22 and a half years? Have we made our Father proud of his children? That's today's class title. So, as you know, we like to pose the question to you, the listening audience. I would like to say, once of all, thank you to the listening audience once again for taking time out to come to these classes, whether you are in person at the chat, or you're online, Clubhouse or Zoom. To say, welcome. Warhub, we say, Miss Patia, Warhub. Welcome to another class. And we do our best to present the doctrine, which, as we say, the doctrine is like the pillar to the culture, Wu-Sabat. The more stable or a doctrine is, the more validity it gives to the culture. Culture presented from above, as we said in the Ranum chant, from Cyrus on Orion, from on high down to us, the prescribed way of life. So now, what advancement have we made in 22 and a half years? And that's the question we like to pose to the listening audience. What advancements have we made in 22 years? I know that on Clubhouse, people tend to be a bit shy, but don't be shy in Clubhouse and or Zoom and in the house. Anybody, what advancements have we made? Anybody?
We have like really popular teachings that go up online for the whole world to see. I guess that could be considered an advancement. Perhaps.
Perhaps it's like, you know, anything else? Anything else? When you say advance, when we use the word advancement, what do we mean when we use the word advancement? Let's use the word advancement. What we use when someone uses advancement, or another word for advancement, he said it earlier on, was progression, improving. So what improvements have we made in 22 and a half years? Let's say we are going to have a Sabian family. What improvements have we made? Advancement means we have advanced, we have raised up. Let me give you all a little help. Okay. And the next part is, have we made our Father proud of his children? Let's come to that later on. So, what advancement have we made? What he's saying is, what has the master teacher given us? He gave us a name, which is Musmatu Sabians of Wu-Sabat. So, the name Sabians of Wu-Sabat. The name Sabians means he has given us an identity. Who are you? We are Musmatu. That's who we are. And when we say we are Sabians, Musmatu of Wu-Sabat. Wu-Sabat is the culture. So your culture is your means or our means of identification. Because without a culture, who are you? Because a culture is representative of you. It is representative of your language, your dress, your food, your names, your deities. Everything is representative of your culture. If we don't have a culture, or we as a people, Nagara, Nadu, Negroes, if we don't have a culture, what we do is we go and adopt a culture which is not representative of us as woolly-haired beings with thinly hair. So if we adopt a culture that has not been created by us, for us, that means then that this culture is not really representative of who and what we are as a people. Correct? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think reason now?
Mhm.
Okay. So now, that's how important a culture is. With a culture, once we, come on, let's look about. With a culture, we as a race, once we start having our culture, and we start living our culture, we have a culture, but once we start living the culture, this is when we will gain world respect. And we can go into that within a class. So, what has the master teacher has given us? A name. Musbatu Wu or Shalil Wu-Sabat. Sapiens of Wu-Sabat, the culture. He's given us a language. The language we call Misbatia. So the culture is called Wu-Sabat. The people are called Musbatu, and the language is called Misbatia. You can hear the graduation from the word Sabat, Wu-Sabat, Musbatu, Misbatia, the language. The language now gives us unification. Because once we have our own language, that is what unifies us as a people. And there's a lot in language, because with a language comes, here it is, advancement. And we can go into that. With language comes advancement. Okay. A language created by one of us for all of us. Again, because we don't have a language, our own stuff, what do? The same with our culture, we go and adapt, also adopt a culture or a language that is not being created with our genetics in mind. The tones, frequencies, and vibrations is not in harmony with or in harmony with the vibratory frequencies of our being. Not losing anybody with these words, because we as a race have a certain vibrational frequency. And the master teacher says the tones for us, or the notes, is F-A-C. The F is the vibrational frequency of the earth. The A note is the vibrational frequencies of our physical body. And the C is the vibrational frequencies of the universe or the cosmos. So F-A-C, because all other races have their own vibratory frequency because they have been constructed differently than us. For example, if you listen to the music now of Hindu, to listen to music of the Chinaman, the Indian man, that has been so constructed for them and their vibrational frequency, or constructed for their body, or the vibrational frequency that their body resonates off of. We too have a vibrational frequency, you see. So our music is just different. Everybody wants to copy our music. The master says right now the best music to do is making music. You know what I mean? That's what he said. I personally, I'm into very kind of old school.
Yeah.
I'm from the old school. You know what I mean? But what it is though, the thing is though, as time goes on, the vibrational frequencies change, or people's our likes changes. So like today, I don't know what the guy's into today. I don't know what music into today, you know.
Yeah.
But but like what we was into back in the days, I prefer, I don't kind of jump that stage, you know, we was into like Louis Armstrong, whatever. And before then, their parents said, oh, kind of rubbish, dude, what kind of jazz is that they're playing? You know what I mean? So you see, so hey, I have to admit though that when it comes to rap music, I don't know what to say. It's like a different language to me. So you know what I mean. The ragga now, I don't know what they're saying, like a different language to me. You know what I mean. I want to know, didn't it? Okay, so the language Misbate creates unification. The master teacher gave us a land, Tamare, Egypt of the West. That was in Egypt and Georgia. And those who are very blessed to have gone on the land must now realize that it was a template of what's to come. You follow? So that's the template. It's got here. It's got here. Let me just write here. So I do notes here. So Partner Babyananand has left us with the facts. But we say hakak al, the actual facts. He's left us with the actual facts. Actual facts which can be confirmed. Because without confirmation, then it becomes a belief. But hear this though. There's nothing wrong with belief or with a belief. What we mean by that is this. When we start any endeavor, we always start with on a belief, on the path of belief. Like you want to take your child to school, you've never been to the school before, you'll take your child to a primary school or a secondary school or university. You start off with belief, you look at the statistics, look at the reports, Ofsted, whatever, and you start off with belief, and then as you were walking the path, then we move from belief and faith into knowing. You know what I mean? You see your child doing very well, now that's confirmation. See? So we always start with, we don't believe. No, we always start on the path of belief. People come into Wu-Sabat for the very first time, you come in your own belief. You may have read the books, you may have heard a brother or the master teacher talking, but what's happening is that what you are hearing, you may hear the master, you may read the books, you may hear one of the student teachers teaching, but there's something inside of you that what you're hearing resonates with you. Not everyone has been blessed to have been in the presence of the master teacher, but there's something inside of you that you hear Wu-Sabat and it resonates with you. Wu-Sabat is a living entity of the highest degree. You see something? Oh, okay. We've got a question on Clubhouse. Asar, Asar. See about the want to come up on the stage. So, no. Oh, it's got his head up. So need to yeah, Asar. Sorry, Asar wants to speak. Okay, he's up. Mute him. Go ahead.
Rahubat Samal. I think I'm not too sure there's feedback. Can you hear?
Yeah, okay, we can hear you.
Okay. So in my brother the extraterrestrial,
yeah,
on page 22.
Okay.
Question 5. The question that the master sister poses is, just what is our purpose? He answers, well, if you mean here on this Kawak planet, that is one thing. And if you mean as a living being, that is another. Could you explain what he's meant by that, please?
Okay, Samal, continue reading. Continue reading. We start again, please. Just what is our purpose? Continue reading, Samal.
Sure. So I will say this. I came to clean my own inside out and outside inward, so they can be transported home to Sabata, Wu-Sabat, which I taught as Ilian. Quran chapter 83, verse 18 to 19.
Okay, can you, okay, can't hear me. Okay, yeah.
Our purpose on this planet is one thing, and as a living being is another. So I would have liked the elaboration if you can so much.
Okay, yeah. What is Yeah, what is saying? I'll read that again. Just what is our purpose? Well, if you mean here on this correct planet, that is one thing. If you mean as a living being, that is another. I will say this. I came to clean my own inside out, outside in, meaning that he's here to elevate our minds so that on the process of elevating our minds, he wants us to perform what's referred to as a self exorcism. When he uses the term clean my own as own people, inside out and outside in, because what is we have been brain dirtied. They used to use the word brainwashed. But we are, because when you wash your clothes, right, it's nice and clean, I mean, but if your clothes dirty, it's dirty, it needs to be washed. So our brain has been corrupted. What's the English language, isn't it? So our brain, our minds has been corrupted. So what it is here to clean our brains. Our brains have been brain dirtied. It needs to be brain washed, made clean again. And so what we need to do, we need to elevate our minds or input in our minds what we refer to as nine mind with nine knowledge, which in turn gives us what we refer to as nine reason or nine reasoning, with reasoning being the highest form of mental processing. Once we start thinking on the terms of nine mind, nine thinking, nine reasoning, with nine knowledge, then we'll begin to advance. As we said before, that in order for us to advance or for our advancement to be visible, it all starts with the mind. Once the mind becomes elevated, once the mind becomes advanced, once we start living off of sound right reasoning with nine knowledge and nine mind, everything else will fall into play. And that means that with the culture, because once that we have the highest form of thinking, we will have the highest form of advancement. Want to say something, Samal?
Question.
Can you give me some ideas?
There is this African proverb that says people repeat the mistakes of history when they don't understand history.
That's right.
It's not when they don't know the history, but they don't understand history. So my question is, what was the mistake that our ancestors made in time past, probably in Egypt? What was their mistakes? For them to lose this knowledge, because knowledge was common then and they lost everything. And we are their incarnation, so we are now here to fix it so we can know what they made wrong, so we can now correct it. So
So that's a good
by chance or luck.
That's a good question. Somebody asked that question. One of the forums here, OSM, asked that question. And we said it like this. What it is that everything happens in cycles and cycles. There's always cycles. Everything's governed by cycles. So the question is often, it's a fair question, and it's a quite common question. So with all this knowledge building the pyramids, etc., how did we fall so low? And the reason for that is because of the cycles. There are cycles which have an effect on not just the planet, but also the solar or galactically. Okay, I try to put it like that. When we say cycles in Wu-Sabat, there are cycles upon cycles upon cycles. But to make things simple, we have what's referred to as a 24,000-year cycle, broken up into two 6,000-year sun cycles and two what we call gold cycles and two 6,000-year silver cycles or moon cycles. That equates to 24,000 years. So each cycle, sun, moon, sun, moon, sun, moon, each 4 cycles last 6,000 years each, equates to 24,000 years. Now, so let's say this, let's say we're at you've got 4 quarters, and let's say if you look at quarter to 9, let's say look at the south, from quarter to 9, so this sector here on the left, we just come out of what we call a silver 6,000-year evolutionary cycle. It was, and that's referred to as also what's known as a patriarchal cycle, a male-orientated cycle. And it was during those periods of time, or during that moon cycle or silver cycle, is when those six ether ghostational forces had an effect on the minds of the people. Meaning that certain races, in this case the Caucasian, it was working in their favor. The ghost cycle or death cycle was working in their favor. When we say death cycle or ghost cycle, what we mean is that we have life and living is nine ether forces, etheric forces. The death of nine ether, we've got six ether. And the death of six ether is ghost ether. So we are coming, or we are out of a ghost cycle, and we're now in a new sun cycle. So it was during the ghost cycle of 6,000 years is where the forces that was propagated upon the Caucasian race, and it was more influential for them to do their devilment, but it was to our disadvantage. Follow? So that's why they were able to do what they do, to come into our lands and do what they did.
So does it mean when the cycle turns around to not be in a disadvantage again? Is that what
Correct. Exactly. 100%.
It means it's not knowledge driven, it was destined to happen.
100%. That's right. But what happened though is that during the ghost cycle, we became hypnotized. We was put asleep, all for a purpose. However, nature never forgets, nor does nature forgives. For the wrongs that has been perpetrated upon us as a race, but going back thousands of years, we tend to think that this is it, and when they drop down dead, that everything's wiped clean. This way it's not wiped clean, because on the other side, you've got beings there waiting for them. People think, no. What it is that even us who are alive, our ancestors, or we use the word Muslahu, and we've got our relatives, Munsabu, who have crossed over, are still here watching everything that we do. Whether our mother or father or great-grandmother, all those have crossed over, they're here watching everything that we do. What we need, what has been lost to us is the fact that we have not been given or not told to communicate with our ancestors. And the greatest hindrance to that is this thing called religion. That's what has messed us up. Because now religion is what we refer to as, they call it the gospel, but we just use the word, ghost ether, ghost spell. They put the spell of ghost or hypnotism upon us and tell us not to look at our ancestors or those who's crossed over, because they're dead, but go and look at the religion of Abrahamism, which is inclusive of Mosesism, Jesusism, and Mohammedism. That has nothing to do with us as a people. It was not for us. It doesn't have its inception in Africa. But the Muslim, I'll get it.
I still don't agree with the answer, because it means since you're in sun cycle, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to talk to your brother about it. You don't need to be on the internet. When the sun is up, everybody gets the light of the sun. So it means we don't have anything to do. From the cycle pattern. If it's the cycle thing, then we just need to wait. When the right cycle comes, everybody will see the lights and they'll embrace it. Is that correct?
That's correct. But hear this though. Not everything was lost. There were certain masters who had to go underground because they had to keep because their life was in jeopardy. If they revealed, because not everything was lost, that certain societies, certain mystical groups that had to go underground or immerse themselves in religion, but taught the secrets to a few because they need somebody to propagate or perpetuate the secrets, the mysteries, until the time came when one will come called Yananan, or in this day and time we say Parnabab Yananan. However, before his arrival, he had predecessors, such as Marcus Garvey, just name a few, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Malcolm X, etc., etc. But they were just laying the seeds until one comes to finish off the job. And that one is Parnabab Yananan. Okay. So it's not a matter of just sitting down and wait for the cycles. No, no, no. There's work to be done. And there's always work to be done because it's called liberation and salvation. Now, this is where religion gets it wrong. They say, oh, Jesus is our Lord and Savior. But they think the Savior, he died on the cross. No, no. When they use the word Savior, they mean the fact that he came to his own to give them salvation information that they were not ready to receive. So he said, another will come is Muhammad, okay, from that line of Abraham. Okay, so when we say Parnabab Yananan is a savior, is what he's come to give us, which is salvation. Hear this word, outformation, transformed into information. And when we say salvation, we have to remember or add to that equation liberation, because liberation is keeping being freed from those opposing forces, be it poverty, be it aggression, etc. All those forces that keep us oppressed, suppressed, and repressed, we need to be liberated from those disagreeable forces. Once those forces, we have been liberated, we need salvation. And salvation is the perpetual maintenance of liberation, or keeping those forces, those opposing forces away once a people has been liberated. Am I making sense? Okay.
Yeah. So what happened at the end of the sun cycle?
Yeah.
They will take over because it's like politics. Two parties
No.
the next party, then the other party will now. It's like becoming like
I hear what you say. I like the word politics, because that's a very good word. Because in that word politics, what it is called polytricks, multiple technology, and they can only perform that rubbish during the gold cycle. But what it is now we're in a new 24,000-year revolutionary cycle. The forces of nature is pulling up on the right side of what we refer to as the SMAC circle. The SMAC circle is an acronym for S, space, M, matter, and T, time. Space, matter, and time, the SMAC circle. So now the forces of natural nature is pulling us back up. We said that during the evolutionary cycle of 6,000 years, we said during the evolutionary cycle of 6,000 years, it was a patriarchal cycle. Everything was male, man. The devil is a man, God is a man, the prophet is a man, the angels is a man, everybody's man. What about the female? You know what I mean? They say everybody's a man. What about the female? You know, without the female, there's no man. But anyway, a man take that. The man in the room. So what it is that now in this new revolutionary cycle, we're now entering into not only a revolutionary cycle, a matriarchal cycle. The real rulers are now coming to the forefront. Guys, I'm going to drop the mic.
Just a quick question. So would it be fair to say that those particular Caucasians that infiltrated at that right time, was that an accident, or did they have the knowledge to know that was the right time?
Yeah, in Kung Fu Panda said no accidents. Remember my yeah, no, it was they were given information by their visitors, because each race visitors come to them. Their visitors were the Pleiadians and another group of beings, and you may have heard this term called the Anunnaki. Yeah, they were given information, especially from the Pleiadians, and what to do, and etc. etc. One of the many information they were given was that every 100 years, they have to mix their seed. Every 100 years, every 400 years, every 100 years, every 100 or 400 years, they have to mix their seed with the Negro race, otherwise they will die off. They need that. So the reason why now, and that's good questions about, they have their secret societies as well. We call them like the Druids and Celtic. What's another one of the secret societies? They've got all the Illuminati, etc. Illuminati got their own different secret societies, and you got warlocks, you got witches, etc. etc. And don't think that they don't know. They do know. They know more. They go to Egypt. You better believe they go to Egypt. They try to decipher the hieroglyphs. They use the Rosetta Stone. But the thing is that they do not have the keys to open that locked golden box. They know. Don't think the Caucasian don't know, because everything that we're saying right now, they know. And we are now just catching up. This book here is a well-recommended book. This book here called The Masterpiece System. It's a really good book. It's by Charles F. Hannell. Yeah, it's really worth recommending if you haven't got that book. Because this guy, I've just said many times, this guy Charles F. Hannell, he's can you see that on Zoom? You can see it on Zoom. Can you see it on Zoom?
Yeah,
You can see it? Yeah, cool. Right, yeah. This guy who's a Freemason, and when you get the book, you realize that. Oh, wait a second. One, two. This guy here, you read this book here, you read the Marvel's book. You see, yeah. He knows what he's talking about. Basically, that book basically is about the mind and the internal forces and the external forces, how they work in synchronicity with each other, and we'll go into that later on. And so going back to the question, is that yeah, they have their own secret societies. They know, they're told to do certain things. That's why they use religion as a tool to spellbind us. The master said that what they did, also giving us a language, which is the English language. And the master said it like this: you could put a spell on a person, or you could spell the word. They could enforce we said this many times. You could enforce the spell on a person by the spoken word, or you could enforce the spell on a person or people by way of the written word. Hear this now. This is the science the master come with now. Master scientists use the same methodology, the same language that they use to enforce the spell, to break the spell. Isn't that a master? The same English language that they used by way of the spoken word, the same English language that they use by way of the written word, use the same language to break the spell. Hear this though. To seal it now. To seal it now. Give them back their own language, meaning us. Give us our own language, Miss Patia. Because once we got our own language, no longer would those telepathic messages be able to penetrate our minds. Because where the mind goes, the body will follow. Once you get the mind, then the person is in autopilot. No more, what they call it, the letter they call the Willie Lynch letter. Willie Lynch letter, no, don't beat the slave and this, that, another. What you do, get him to go against him, she against she, and enforce, affect the mind so that things become self-perpetuating. But hear this now. Now that we've got right knowledge and we work at it, it will work through us. Somebody asked the question, what do I expect to gain from Wu-Sabat? It's not what Wu-Sabat can give you, it's what can you give it, and it in turn will work with you. You work with it, you work with the forces will work with you. That's what, because it's a living entity. See, and everyone each and every one of you that's here today, those of you that's on the Clubhouse and Zoom, is not by accident. It's by divine decree. It's something that's been pre-encoded in our DNA going way back. Because before we incarnated on this planet, before we was born, we was in the etheric realms. And we said that when Wu-Sabat comes round, I'll gravitate towards it. Now, each and every one of us are very, very blessed to be alive in this day and time, 2024. We say HA, hereafter the devil's rule. The reason for that is because many sages of past, prophets and apostles and seers and the like, those people, philosophers, all long to live in this day and time because they knew of the coming of Pa Nabab Yananan, where all the doors would be opened. What was once, hear this word, use this word like this, there'll be revelations. And a revelation basically means things that's been revealed. In order to be revealed, it was once sealed. And the other seals, they call it the 7 seals, would be lifted. And all would be known to the people. As we know that Pana Babyanan is presently incarcerated, but not for long. You know that what we are learning right now, and all the patriarchs, etc., and the master series, etc., is just stepping stones towards the tip of the iceberg. It steps us towards the tip of the iceberg, because what's to come? You won't be able to use Google, you won't be able to use Alexa, you won't be able to use AI, whatever. This is going to be next level information. It's going to change the planet. It's going to change the planet. And then hear this now, the mere fact that we are talking right now using the English language and we're talking Wu-Sabat, right knowledge, is having an effect on the molecules within the atmosphere that we breathe in. And because we breathe in, and because we're saying these words, it is having an effect on our neurons, brain cells, our thoughts that's coming from the mental. And because it's having an effect on our thoughts, it's having an effect on our actions, how we do things. Maybe subtle, but those little subtle changes become big changes. See, Prophet, back there, come to the mic, Prophet.
So just on going with what you're saying, you mentioned earlier the 3 tones of F, C, and A. So I've been doing Patakud quite regularly. Obviously I want to continue to elevate and continue with the chanting. I just want to know, in terms of the F, C, A notes, am I supposed to be chanting to a particular note? Or is it a combination, or all 3? What's the most effective way to get the best out of that chant in terms of my ancestors sort of coming and leading with my actions? And
the master said that what we knew, we should be chanting on the A note. The A note, first of all, because that's the foundation. The A note is your body. Okay. On the vibrational frequency of the body, the A note. And we always say this is that the key when you're chanting is the vowels, you heard it before, R, E, O, or they say A, E, O in English, right? Let's say there are 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, but really it's only 3, A, E, O, and we've done a class on this, anyway, many classes on this. But when we say A, E, O are the vowels, it's by no accident that our own mystical orders called the ancient Egyptian order, A, E, O. The reason for that is to let you know the source of languages, the origin of language, where language first originated, which is in Africa. Because anthropologists and the like all acknowledge that the first people on the planet Earth was from Africa. Africa, really. It's from Africa. So since they're the first people, or say they, which is us, since we are the first people on the planet, that means we're the closest to God. So being the first people on the planet, they must have spoken. So whatever language they spoke would have been the first language. And that language that they spoke must have come from beings from the stars, from their creators, our creators, I suppose, from the creators, from the stars. But what they've done is they said, okay, then, so what was the first language? The first language we called the language of the stars. What word is that? It's Batia. That's it. So who are these beings? Oh, they were called Wu-Sabat or Sabians from the stars. They came and taught the women 54,000 years ago how to speak. And 4,000 years later, they in turn taught the secret to the masculines. So the higher beings came to the females first, taught them how to speak, and they in turn taught the masculines how to speak 4,000 years later. Okay? So now, going back to your question now, when we are chanting though, we should really start with the A, E, U. And when we say A, E, U, you have to look at our mouth. A, E, U. A, E, U. A, E, U. A, E, U. So when you patak yun, patak yun, Anunnaki with pa shugem pa pa wu. Kalala shug. Kunja with Nia, Anuki Kosumum and Papa Wood, Woo Papa Wood, Kon Kosumum and Nia, all starts from I-E-U. Keep on doing that. And I-E-U, not just the vowels, but the I-E-U means that you are communicating with Panasaru, with the A, the E, the feminine forces, and the U, the masculine forces. I, E, U, Panasaru, feminine and masculine forces. That's the foundation. And then when you do your chanting, now you've got that set tone, those tones in your head, you will hear your chants will start to will start to come alive. I, E, U, and all other chants. I, E, U. Your hair will come alive and it will start to resonate in your being. And not only that, you are now communicating with your ancestors anyway. Because we are communicating with ancestors anyway. And the etheric cord, like when we was born, we had an etheric cord, umbilical cord to our mother. We also have an etheric cord to our more slothful ancestors and relatives, higher beings. And that etheric cord, the physical cord, is called the 10th cranial nerve, which is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve was connected to Pa Atara, the third eye. So this Pa Atara, let's use the vagus nerve is what connects. It's like the pathway to the etherians, to the higher abode. You know what I mean? Okay, I hope that helped. Go ahead, please.
Question on Zoom from Terence. Was telepathy before language, and what caused us to speak instead of remaining using telepathy?
Okay, yeah, telepathy was the form of communication before language. But what caused us to speak was the fact that the higher beings from Cyrus, I think there's I read somewhere that says the feminine feminine overseer called Natharat. She was the one who took part in genetic manipulation of the larynx and the voice box that helped the feminines to speak. They had to do certain genetic manipulation, the activation of what's that thing called in the chromosomes? It's called FOXP2 gene, called the forkhead FOXP2 gene. We did a class on that as well, which is on chromosome number 7. And with the FOXP2 gene, with alteration to the FOXP2 genes, along with the larynx and the voice box, is what helped that aided in articulation. What we mean by that is if the FOXP2 gene is if there is a fault in that particular gene, 7th chromosome, there's a fault in that particular gene, speech articulation becomes hindered. You see, so they had a lot of genetic alterations had to be done within the brain, had to be done within the voice box, and not only that, in order to see if humans, the feminized, if they could articulate or not articulate, emulate what was being taught to them, they first did experiments on 2 animals. One is called the African grey parrot, and a baboon, a particular species of baboon, which is called the Hamadryas baboon. This Hamadryas baboon is the same species of baboon that you will see in the temples dedicated to the deity, the Huti, to Huti. And the same species of baboon is what you will see on one of the deities. Horus or Harar had 4 sons, Dumutev, Kupsnov, Hapi, and Imset. Well, on the deity Hapi, he had a baboon. This is the same species of baboon that's on the Canoptic jar. It's called the Hamadryas baboon. Now, these 2 creatures is what the higher beings utilize to see if they could imitate sounds. They found it could work, and they used that same template for the feminines to teach them language. Okay? 54,000 years ago. And with language came culture, and with culture came an advancement. Now, when we look in terms of language and human beings, we have what we refer to as anatomical modern humans, AMH, anatomical modern humans, AMH, and we have behaviorally modern humans. Now, when we say anatomical modern humans and the differentiation between behavioral modern humans, what we mean is you've got human beings, about thousands of years, that look like us, but they didn't act like us in 2024. With the implementation of language, those anatomical modern humans, their behavior is very similar to how we behave back then. So they're referred to as behaviorally modern humans. And that's because of the intervention of language. So with language came an advancement, came culture. So now, going back to the title of this class, what advancements have we made in 2024? Language is an important ingredient towards elevation. Okay. So I'll speak back to I have to rewind the tape back to the brother Asami. He said this question from this particular scroll here, my brother the extraterrestrial. This scroll here, my brother the extraterrestrial, was written by the master teacher's sister, Kamamta Mot Patawara Atumbreye. And yeah, so that's quickly let's quickly read it. Brother asked that question hours ago, wasn't it? And just what is our purpose? Well, if you mean here on this co-op planet, that is one thing. If you mean as a living being, that is another. I will say this. I, came to clean my own inside out and outside in, so they can be transported home to Sabatat, Cyrus, and Orion, which I taught as Ilion, that's in the Quran, 83, 18 to 19. Let me say this, which brings me on to another point. So, I've got my notes here, but I say now that not every brother is going to sit amongst the higher beings. Razun, Zakun, and Zarun, Zanun, the Rizkians. Not every sister will be given the pleasure to sit amongst Reitat, Atumtat, and Patatat, the higher feminines. Not any and everybody's going to make the grade. Not everybody's going to win the race, are they? In the marathon, everybody starts, the Hollywood people, and as they go around the track, go through the laps, 23 miles, people drop off, gasping for breath, gasping for water, whatever. Things don't sit right with them. You know what I mean? Somebody stressed them out. Hey, on this journey, we're going to meet restraints and challenges. Everybody is going to be tested to see whether we're going to stand straight or just heel over. Master says, I don't want you to prostrate, I want you to stand straight. I don't want you to walk behind me, I don't want you to walk in front of me, I want you to walk beside me. You see? So when he says that I came to clean my own inside out, outside inward, so they can be transported home to Sabatat. Hear this word. Transported home to Sabatat, Cyrus, and Sa'ahat, Orion, which are taught as Elion. Okay? Not everyone's going to make that trip. Not everyone's going to make that trip. That's the reality. However, then we come back. What the Master Teacher is saying here is that as Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, Yanun came to him, incarnated to him, to tell him that you're looking at yourself, and taught him. Yanun is just one of the many things I taught the Master Teacher. Yanun has come, Yanun, in the purchase of His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, is here again. He's here now to teach us. So we get teaching direct from Yanun, the same being that came and taught the Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. Implanted himself, now he's here. So Yanun came to the Master Teacher to raise him up, to be like him, an Nadar, an Etiro, overseer, or we say a deity or God, Gadad. So now the Master doing the same thing now, is here to raise us up, become avatars or supreme beings in human form, like himself. For the higher beings to start to incarnate. So today is that we are now in the day and time of incarnation. And you don't think the Caucasian don't know it, because they made movies about it. And they made one movie, it's called Avatar. You know what I mean? And in that movie, the Caucasian guy, he took on an avatar. And what was his name? Jake, the snake. And you know what the word Jacob means? Supplanter. And Yaqub, supplanter. That's what it means. You think they don't know? You think let's just give that guy a name, Jake, the snake. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? You know what they do? They tell you what their plans are for the future in the movies. They tell you what they've got coming next in the movies. Movies going back, look at Star Trek back in 1960, whatever. Got somebody will say something. Before you, great. I want to say something. Take my bro.
Yeah, I have a question. I know,
Speak a bit closer.
like Jacob.
Oh, is it on?
Jacob,
Yeah.
he made the Kazas, he made Adamic race, and the supplanter of Jacob in the Bible. What's the connection? Are they the same being, or are they trying to? I'm not getting the parallel between both of them.
Yeah. What?
Because the only thing I've seen is just that Jacob made, when he was having Laban cattle, he made some white and made some black. Is that the same thing as making of the white and black race, or making the white race? So, well, I don't know what's
Yeah,
the stories. Which one is the real story? Which one was copied? Which one is, I'm trying to get.
Yeah, the Jakub, yeah, well done, Samuel. Yeah, the Jakub story is actually a true story, you know, with the creation of those beings. But the Jakub or the Jacob story in the Bible, they are the Bible itself is plagiarized information that they took or they stole from other manuscripts and planted inside of them. It's inside the Bible that they give us today. So what it is that the Master Teacher put it like this with the Bible and the Quran. He goes, to say that the Bible is all lies is a lie, and say the Bible is all truth is a lie. What they've done with the Bible stories is they put just enough salt to give it some form of validity. What we mean by put enough salt, they got real places, they got certain names that they cloaked and certain stories that they overlaid and gave it to us. What we mean by that? They said there's a guy called Moses and he met God, but the name was Thutmose or Tuhutimos. Yeah, means a child of Tuhuti. When you say Abraham, really talking about Abraham, the majestic heart of Ra. See, when you say Jesus, really talking about Yeshua or Yeshua in Galilean Hebrew. But the Yeshua was some of these biblical characters were real life people, yeah, but they didn't have those type of those names, and the events that they said that they propagate, like they did this, they did that, they never done it. So they put just enough fiction, just enough non-fiction in the fiction, in the lies to hook the people. So there was a Yeshua or Yeshua, or let's say, lack of a better word, Jesus did exist, but not as described in the Bible. You see, he too was what you call an avatar, part human and part extraterrestrial. He came to his own. You see, so he taught certain. He was of the mystery schools, ancient Egyptian mystery schools, because in the Bible it tells you that from up until the age of 13 or 12, he was reared in Egypt. Then he come back, sat amongst the priests and the Sanhedrins and whatever, and he taught like someone who was waxed wise in wisdom. So he was taught the Egyptian mystery system, just like the Moses character. He was reared in Egypt and he was taught the Egyptian mystery system. See, so a lot of your biblical characters, they were taught a lot of the sciences from the Egyptian mystery systems. And how you know that the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims all give acknowledgement to the Egyptian mystery system is simply by the end of their prayers. The Jews say Amen. Christians say Amen. What's it say? Amen. Amen. And the Muslims say Amen. All giving reverence to this deity called Amun Ra, or Amun Re, or we say Amun Re. All giving reverence to this high Egyptian deity called Amun. And that's why in Islam, in Arabic, they use the word mu'min, or they say believer. You know what I mean? Or mu'minun, believers, or mu'minati, feminine who believe, let's say believers. Really, that word mu'min comes from the Arabic from the root word amana, Amun. So they all acknowledge this Egyptian deity, Amun Ra, as they pronounce it. You see? So they know what they're doing. See? So your Jacob story, Jacob and Jacob going back, is it 8,400 years to create being, to show that, you know, whatever. They grafted those stories as well and tried to tie it into the vine to give religion some form of validity. You see? But again, that could only work during the ghost cycle with the ghost spell or the gospel. I mean, something it's quite hard to shake off, you know. But in saying that, though, just because a person is religious doesn't make them a bad person. You know what I mean? Because you've got some very good people who are religious. You've got some very bad people. You've got some people who are disagreeable in Wu-Sabat. You know what I mean? You've got to keep it real. You know what I mean? So, but like we said earlier on, is that you had many people who were well learned into mystery systems had to cloak themselves in religion so that they won't be killed, so they could pass on the secrets. Many orders had to go underground for a purpose until this day and time, where all will be revealed in time. Prophet, back there, anything you want to say? You got one more question, then.
So does it mean we're in the time of enlightenment? We don't need to go underground now?
That's right.
Because I've also experienced it. Like you don't say some things in your workplace, if not, it's not. I won't use saying it's gonna backfire is not the right word, because like decades later, those information can still be used against you. So are we to do underground now, or what are you saying about that?
Yeah, no, it won't be gone underground. No, not anymore. What is, you have to remember with Wu-Sabat, if you said Wu-Sabat is a living entity, and it is our means of protection. It will protect us. And the secrets, we do not reveal the secrets. The real secrets are best kept sacred in the orders. You see? So those who know that, heard that saying, those who know don't tell, those who tell don't know. You heard that one before? Right, let's see something about that.
Yeah, question on Zoom from Curtis Barrett.
Go ahead.
I know we're influenced by 36 generations back. What were to happen if one of my 36 ancestors were to reincarnate? Would that being or new incarnated soul still be considered one of my 36 ancestors? Can you explain how that works?
Right, yeah. It all ties into the bloodline. See, it all ties into the bloodline. What is that one of your 36 ancestors, what is that? It all ties into the bloodline, and also ties into the fact that we've had many incarnations. Okay. The incarnations, when we talk about incarnations, the reason why we are here is for one reason and one reason only, and that's for experience. The things that we need to learn, the master teacher said it like this. Let's say the average person lives to about, what's the average person? What age is the average person live to? Okay, so all you need to know, 80 years is not, you know, it's like eight hours. There's so much to learn, and that we cannot accomplish that in 80 years. And not only that, some of us have never fulfilled our purpose, because we are here for a reason. We're here for a purpose, to experience certain things and to learn from our experiences. So when we talk about incarnations, not only do you have incarnations, because you could be a female in a previous incarnation, you could be in a Hindu in another incarnation, you could be in a Caucasian in another incarnation, you see. So what is it? So we're here to experience. The master said we have up to about some of us had about 9,000. We had to come back here 9,000 times to get it right. Apart from that, we also there are those amongst us who are of the higher beings, who purposely incarnated to teach Wu-Sabat. And the master just says that goes back 9 billion years. When you got this book here, it's called one of my favorite scrolls, Tones, Frequencies and Vibration. We're looking at this particular actual fact, number 18. the master goes into it. How there are higher beings who have incarnated in this day and time. High beings. It got even who said that it goes back 9 billion years to the Cyrus C star system that they elevated to such high degree that they didn't need physical bodies. And those that elevated, or those that didn't make the grade, came down to this planet and they were cut off and had to start again. And that ties into the deity Ptah and this what they call the reseeding of life on this planet. Goes back 9 billion years. Okay, so to the question that was asked is that you can have ancestors who have reincarnated through the bloodline. You also got you got ancestors that are who have incarnated through you through us as an individual. However, they never made the grade. We talked about this last time. They never made the grade. So what it is, they seek to live life, physical life, through you or through us. Because they become so attached to the physical. For example, you might have an ancestor who's an alcoholic, and you may smell the bottle and you start drinking for no reason, or one who's greedy, gluttonous, just eating burgers, because they want to experience that, and they live in their life through you. You've got ancestors now who have elevated. They don't want to experience life again, but what they want you to do now, they utilize you now, or help you, or help us in our journey to elevate. See? So now, once we start learning and absorbing, understanding and applying Wu-Sabat, the culture and the doctrine therein, those ancestors that never made the grade will make the grade through us, the living. You see? So each and every one of us, we mentioned last time, each and every one of us is a savior to our ancestors, those who never made the grade. And we said last time, go and watch the movie Coco, because it really it's the epitome of what Partner Babylon is saying. Okay, and he says that 3 a.m. every shadow hour period, that is a filament or a vortex that's open up, they will come through that vortex, you see. But not just the agreeable, it's got disagreeable beings as well. But Wu-Sabat is our protection. Young brother at the back, you got the mic? Before you got someone, sorry, someone, we got a question.
There's a question on Zoom by Batar Amun.
If you can hold on.
I it already because my battery went dead.
Oh, if you can just hang on, if you just hang on, as you've got a brother in the class here, he wants to say something, let me come back to that question. Go ahead, Simon.
Previously, you just mentioned that there's some disagreeable beings in Wu-Sabat. Isn't that like contradictory of Wu-Sabat? And what does being disagreeable in Wu-Sabat look like?
All right, yeah. Not everybody in Wu-Sabat is here for the same purpose, same as yourself, to elevate. You know, it happens. You know, it's not like when they come to Wu-Sabat to have a different mindset. No, it happens in all organizations, and this is none. What we mean by that is there are people that were on the land conspiring to take the master down.
But then, ain't they just like a secret agent then? They can't really be Wu-Sabat.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's a word they use called wolves in sheep's clothing. You heard that one before?
Yeah, that's not Wu-Sabat. That's something else. That's a plant.
Yeah, it happens, isn't it? It's been for real, happens, isn't it? Even it happens in a criminal organization. You've got a guy, he's a plant. He's an agent. Even in criminal organizations, you got one dude there, he's working for the DEA downtown or whatever. So yeah, it happens. We got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. Yeah. So Malta, you want to ask that?
Yeah, I was just saying there's a question on Clubhouse. Batar Amun Akare.
Okay.
He says Rahubat, I have a question. What is the gold box? What gold box are you referring to when you mention they don't have the key to unlock the gold box? What do you mean about that? And where is this gold box located?
That's a good question. But it's quite simple as well. The golden box that we are referring to is the box of secrets that's kept sacred, and the key is within the chest of each individual that is given the secrets by way of the master teacher. They don't have that key, those keys are secrets, to unlock the chambers. They don't have that key. So that gold box is really a metaphorical box, not a literal box, the metaphorical box that those secret keys that will open up, that allow travel to the higher planes, as we read it here. I'll read it again. This is what the brother Asar says. I came to clean my own inside out and outside in, so they can be transported home to Sabatat, Cyrus, and Orion. They will be given the secrets. Okay. But when we say the golden box, not a literal golden box, but the keys, because you know a key is to lock or unlock that which is closed. The key does not open the door, it just unlocks the door, and you have to open that door. You see? So that's what we are referencing when we say the golden box of secrets, that they do not have the keys, because that keys is not written down. It's given by mouth to ear to those who will sit amongst the masters. You see, so I hope that made it clear. It's just metaphorical. And where is this box located? Within the heart. That's where it's located, in the heart seat. Because the highest abode, we was taught back in the days that there are 7 abodes. Okay, the physical abode, the abode of the plane of force, the spiritual abode, the mental abode, divine truth, divine reality, and the 7th abode is the bosom. The bosom they're making reference to is your heart, the heart seat. Okay, and you know the heart seat is midway between the lower seats and the higher seats. You see, so the bosom, or we say a short divine love, is the key towards elevation. Okay. Hope that for Pata Amun Ray, I hope that answers your question. And any questions else? Oh, the brother Isabel.
Yeah, Keisha's got a question that pertains to the title of the room. What advancements have been made since the master teacher's abduction?
Okay, yeah, she's answered my question. Anyway, she's asking my question, but we come to that in a minute. Okay, Keisha, just hold tight, and we'll be there. And Samal, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is a bit related to what you were talking about the spirits. I just finished reading one of the books, 30 Spirits, and I just want to understand a bit more about how far or how deep does it really influence your day-to-day life. I was reading something, it spoke about, I think it was like your decisions, your desires, some of it is really coded into your DNA from when you was a child, of certain things that you like. And also reading something about, he was talking about habits, whether it's sex, drugs, smoking, drinking, how there's these 30 spirits, disagreeables, and agreeables, and how they kind of influence you in your life in the day-to-day, and with everything that you do, struggling with so much things.
Yeah.
You know, how is, and he mentioned something about binding the spirits.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that scroll with me. Yeah, so the brother say something. I think there was a mal. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay, right. What it is that we said earlier on how these spirits can influence you to do that which is ought, what you should do, and that which is not, what you should not do, ought or not. Now, what we've got is will. Oh, we've got it there. Well done. Yeah, so the things that we are influenced by those 30 spirits, to do or not to do. We're also influenced not only by the spirit, but also by the environment which we live in. Okay, so these are the influences that have an effect on our being. Okay. Okay, well done. I just quickly read this. It's got here. Again, we've got the Scottish map. But here, okay, let's read this then. Start from okay, let's read this. Start from 6, 30 spirits. For those of you the part total. I don't know if you can see that on the Zoom. 30 spirits. We read it from page 1. Start of page 1, we start from 6. You must remember what and who you are to all others. 7, you must bind the 30 spirits that seek to control you. You're talking about the disagreeable ones. You can go on that later on. 8, the very voices of your own sorrowful ancestors who lived in the image of the beast and at Tamwat, death, has been trapped in his hell, haven't made the grade. 9, you must bind them and free them from the realm of hell, that you will be free of their whispers into your habab heart and akal mind, which affects your very actions each zaman day of your life. They're influencing you. These are the lower ancestors. They're influencing you. Wait a minute as well, okay? Was it someone quickly?
Very quickly.
Go ahead, very quickly. Okay, go ahead.
So does that mean to bind them, you have to ignore them, the disagreeable ones that haven't made the grade?
No, to bind means to hold them back, to tie them. But you can go into it. You can go into it, yeah. Oh, that's about well done. Okay. So read that 9 again. You must bind them and free them from the realm of hell, that you will be free of their whispers into your heart and mind, which affects your very actions each zaman day of your life. How do we bind them? But Wu-Sabat. Anyway, it talks about it here. 10, the Sawat, all voices who whisper to your inner mind as to what is best to do, what is right to do, and what is good to do. So you got 2 voices that are running simultaneously to tell you what you should do. There are obviously the higher ones. The lower ones are telling you the higher ones are telling you what to do or what not to do. The lower ones are telling you what to do and what not to do. The disagreeable ones, okay? 11. And Sawat voices. Anyway, I just read what me. I'm saying what's here. Anyway, let's read it. And 11. And Sawat your voices who whisper to your inner emotions and desires what is not best for you and others. 12. What is not right to do and what is not good for you. 13. The whispers that are agreeable and the whispers that are disagreeable. So you've got 2 there. Agreeable and disagreeable. 14. Your choice, your will is influenced by the very voices of and in your DNA. Will basically means the ability to decide upon a course of action, to do that which is agreeable and that which is disagreeable. Will is undecided. It's either you do or you don't do. Agreeable and disagreeable equally equal power, for lack of a better word. But you've got the agreeable and disagreeable ancestors, and you are the one who should be in the driving seat. But what it is that they want to, the disagreeable ones want to push you back into the driving seat, and they get into the driving seat, put the seatbelt on, so you're no longer driving the vehicle, they're driving, they're saying to you, they want you to turn right, want you to turn left, want you to take this bottle of bourbon, for the Americans drinking a bourbon, or take a bottle of Red Bull or whatever, smoke this, do that. These are the disagreeable ones. Okay, we continue reading here. Start from 14 again. Okay, start from 13. The whispers that are agreeable and the whispers that are disagreeable. 14. Your choice. Your will is influenced by the very voices of and in your DNA. That's how close they are. 15. What you became after birth. 16. What you accepted as you grew. 17. What you believe you want as opposed to what you need. I want some is differentiation between what we want and what we need. I want this, but do you need it though? Or I want a new pair of trainers, but what's wrong with the other trainers you got there already? Go on. 18. Your inner voices who whisper to you only wish to fulfill their lifelong desires with your jasad flesh and khatat body. 19. To lust their lust, to pleasure as they wish to be pleased by any and all. 20. They seek to use your frame, physical body, for their own use, even unto your tamwat death. They don't really care if you die or not. They just want to have their pleasure. Once you drop down dead, they look for the next. Who's the next one? Who's next on the list? That's Adam, he's gone. There's Brian, he's got for him now. They got down the list. That's metaphorically speaking, isn't it? 21. And each of the 30 Ka'a'u spirits in your DNA is linked to their own 30 Ka'a'u spirits DNA. And all the Ka'a'u spirits they have encountered during their own lives. See, so there's a link, there's not just one or two man, there's a whole lot of people behind you waiting in line to want to use your khatat body to live through you. See, so the thing is, the first thing is to be aware. And we say aware, the word we use is to become conscious. And we use another word to say conscience. Know how to differentiate between right and wrong. So it's conscious, being alert and awake, and conscience they use to differentiate between right and wrong. And that all comes together as what's referred to as will, you see. But the first thing is to acknowledge that. Guys, still continue.
Related to this, but
He's
I've got a question, but if you
because he's on the roll now. Go ahead, because you've had the part track in it.
I was going to ask you, my understanding is all the spirits is like my ancestors, right? It's our ancestors.
That's right.
And if, let's say, I'm honoring my ancestors, I'm calling up on them to try to give me guidance, and there's some disagreeables and agreeables, so I'm not going to know which one is going to come and help me, the agreeable one and the disagreeable one. Am I not going to mistakenly call the bad ancestor to come and just put badness in my life or something?
No. What it is that if you know the names, if you know the master said like this, if you know your closest female ancestor, call on her, and it's agreeable, call on her, because she is not by herself. She's also connected to her ancestors as well, going back. And each and every one of them are working towards your advancement. It's the disagreeable ones. The master said you should try and attend. You know what? This voice is not my own. These actions are not my own actions. But seek, he said, call on your feminine ancestors. They're the ones that you should call upon, because they're all interlinked. The feminines are all interlinked, the agreeable ones, and they will help you on your journey. They're more closer. Our ancestors are more closer than we realize, because they're watching over us. All you have to do is acknowledge their presence. And they will guide us through many means. Through many means, you know what I mean? But as you walk on Patara, the way, the mere fact that you're asking these questions, the mere fact that you're picking up this book, you are in the process of binding those disagreeable spirits. And when we say binding, we mean you are elevating them in the same process as you are elevating as well, and receiving guidance from your ancestors. Now, this is how it works. The disagreeable ancestors will reach a point whereby they cannot use your khatat body to do their nefarious or to relive life or the earthly pleasures. Because by you staying on Patarak will elevate them to a point in that realm, in the spiritual realm that they're in that etheric realm, they will reach the point where the higher ancestors will be able to take their hand and move them up. Because they got their disagreeables behind them as well, and they too will elevate as well. Because not only you got your feminine ancestor who is elevated, who is helping you, but you also got behind her, or say alongside her, which you use the term correctly, alongside her, you also got those agreeable ancestors that also are helping. So that one ancestor who never made the grade for those high ancestors to grab their hand, that disagreeable ancestor is using your body, but you raise up, they will raise up in turn, and to the level whereby your agreeable ancestors will take their hand and they in turn will raise up. You see? So it is really each one, teach one, we're all helpers on this side and the other side, because the non-physical, or we use the term the inner world, and the outer world, the physical world, are interrelated. So we need to nourish both. Once we nourish the physical, we will nourish the spiritual. Once we nourish the spiritual, we will nourish the physical. Okay? And when we say nourish, because also not only what we are taking in mentally or visually, but also what we are taking in terms of food, because we know foods have distinct energies. You see, and that distinct energy it's coming from the plane of force, as we said. We have the 7 planes, physical plane, plane of force. So those distinct energies, the etheric energies that will help your physical being, will also help those lower ancestors. So when we say ancestors now, that means then that the master did say that we should set up an altar and have a picture of your ancestor there. Candles, every now and then burn a small portion of sage, clean the environment, and communicate to your ancestor. He said that, let's say you got a picture of you got a lot of ancestors on your altar. He said you want to communicate with one ancestor that you got a photograph of, turn the other pictures upside down or away, that one picture of that particular ancestor that you want to make communication with, talk to them. But here it is. You don't even need to, you can also talk to your ancestors wherever you are, because they're with you 24/7. But your altar is a sacred place, it's a portal where they could come through etherically. And once we elevate ourselves to that degree, we'll be able to incarnate them. Okay? That goes back to the third eye. Yeah. I hope that helps them out. Did it help? Oh, okay.
Very much, thank you.
Okay, so proper diet.
I'll try and keep it quick because I'm very running short.
No, it's not time.
Keeping in mind of the disagreeable people that are kind of running the world right at the minute. I have a friend that is in cybersecurity, and he's very high up, and he's close to a lot of the Elon Musks and the big companies that are playing with AI at the minute. And he speaking to people in that industry, and he tells me that there's a lot of fear right now around AI. And even though the people that are creating AI are putting out there that they're worried about AI, certain people are still pushing for this AI. So basically, my question is, can you give me your take on AI and why you believe these entities are pushing for AI? Is it to do with like, are they trying to use it as a weapon against, I don't know, Wu-Sabat or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, they want to eliminate
the
population of the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, when they eliminate the population of the planet, and take over. They've been telling this for years and years and years. Look in the movies, I've watched the movies, yeah, what you name a movie, it's in there. Look, Arnold, all of them in the movie there, okay? Hey, this though, not gonna work. Not gonna work. Do you think that the higher beings cannot look into the future? Not gonna work. Because Martin said, no matter what they do, not gonna work. Stuff is gonna hit the fan, without a doubt. Stuff is gonna hit the fan. You know what I mean? So, but he goes, what they're doing is not gonna work. Yeah. But artificial intelligence, the intelligence, the outintelligence and the outformation that is going to be received, artificial intelligence will have no part to play in it. They will see it, artificial intelligence will look dumb as to what's going to be or what's coming. That's why I said that, that's why we said earlier on that what is to come, no AI, no Google, or no artificial this, that, and the other will be able to compete. Success is ours. The beings that can come here on this planet are not ones that to be messed with. It's not artificial intelligence. This is natural nature intelligence that is to come. And don't think they don't know it, because they know it. Because they have the ability to look into the future. But what they cannot do is avert what is to take place. Because what is to happen is supposed to happen. Like, for example, the Caucasian, they know that their time is up, but they're doing their utmost to be an exception to the rule. For example, they have an animal like the panda bear that, according to natural nature, is meant to be extinct. But now they want to avert that natural nature process, and because they are of the unnatural, they do that which is unnatural to prolong the existence of the panda bear. And when nature says it's time for a species to go, it's time for a species to go, because there's something in that animal. The master teacher said that there's something that animal is putting out into the atmosphere that says no, its expiration date has arrived. Like you go to the shops, you buy a piece of cheese and it's got on the expiration date. You got the little expiration date 2027. So you know that in 2 years, 3 years time, you got to use that piece of cheese, otherwise it's going to expire. So everything has an expiration date. Everything that's physical, that is. I mean, but they may create all this AI, whatever. But what's to come? So it's like they're creating an AI. Elon Musk is telling you that AI doesn't have the best interest of humanity in mind, in its artificial mind, that is. Yeah, you're the one who's propagating the flipping AI. You create the flipping thing in one breath. Members of the jury, I rest my case. Okay, everyone could be a judge. This case, how the heck does that make sense? How the heck does that make sense? You are telling people about what's to come and the disadvantages of AI, and it doesn't have humanity's best interest at heart. Yet you're the one who's created this AI thing unless you flip it AI yourself. You know what I mean? That was the mind. You know what I mean? You want to read something?
I was going to read some of the questions on Zoom.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay, a question on Zoom from Terence. Can you tell us about and explain the connection between the Knights, Templars, Kurask, Meri, ancient Egypt, and the so-called Holy Grail?
Okay, yeah. What it is that the master teacher put it is that the Knights Templars, they're the ones who took the body of. Did you say the body of? They're the ones who, how should you put it? So repeat the question again so I could give him the answer.
Can you tell us about and explain the connection between the Knights Templars, Coras, Meli, ancient Egypt, and the so-called Holy Grail?
Right, yeah. They're the ones who, behind the scenes, they know about the wife of Jesus, and they're the ones who transported her out of Israel, and they're the ones who kept certain secrets. I don't know too much about the Knights, but they do hold some of the secrets. You see, they do hold some of the secrets. But that's as far as I could go with I can't really say anymore. Otherwise, I'll be making things up. Okay.
Okay, next question on Zoom, from Felucio. Could you say anything about the Neanderthals, where from and how created?
Oh, the Neanderthals, they are say a species of. They were created by way of the Pleiadians. You had the Cro-Magnon, you had the Neanderthal. They are one of those species that were created by way of the Pleiadians. Okay, so that's it really. And from them, then you got the Caucasians today. But they had to use the Caucasian today, because remember the different species of Caucasians. You have the adamites that's mentioned in your Bible, but they too were grafted. They were grafted beings from way of not just it was the what do you use? They use the monkey, the porcine, the pig. They use portions of the DNA from us as Negroids. You had the Cro-Magnon and you had the Neanderthals. What they tend to do is they tend to attribute the Neanderthals as being high intellectual, one of the first ones on the planet. You go to museums, especially Horn Museum up there in Forest Hill, to try to impress upon our minds that the Neanderthals were one of the first ones on the planet. They had high civilization, but no, they're from the Neanderthals are just from that lineage. Let me just read something for you that explains much better. Again, another book I recommend you buying, one of the brothers in Jamaica, Ra Hotep. This book here, Quantum and Creation of the Universe and Humans. Another good book worth reading. This one here. Let me just quickly find that page for you. At the end.
Quickly, was it Neanderthal a prototype of the adamite?
But
Would that be correct to say? Because I know there was a couple previous versions of the adamites before them.
yeah, I don't know if they were the prototype, the adamites. They used the adamites were a race that was created from portion of our essence of Negroids, portions of the Asians, part of their DNA as well. That's why you use the word Caucasians. They say the word Caucus is deteriorating Asian. So if there is going to be like a prototype, it'll be coming from the Asians. Okay, I just want to quickly read an excerpt pertaining to the Neanderthal. I can find it in here. This book really goes into it. I can find it. Hopefully, I might have to move on. Okay. It's hang on, it's really find out. So from about the Neanderthal. Trying to But anyone got, while I'm searching for that, anyone got any other questions that they like to ask? Well, I'm looking for this
I
one
have a
here.
question.
Go ahead,
Talking
sir.
about Jacob created the Adamite race. Then another version is that the Adamite race were created to mine gold. So which you have different versions. It's like I'm saying.
Oh, did the yeah, the Yakub didn't create the Adamites. It was
That's it. Okay.
yeah, it was Pleiadians who done that. The Pleiadians in Genesis chapter 1 verse 24, and it says, "Let us make man in our image and after our likeness." And God said, the word is Elohim, which means gods in plural, but it was like the Pleiadians and the Anunnaki. Let's make man in our image, look like them, and after our likeness, act like them, and then have the meaning of the earth, the fish in the sea, etc., etc. Then it goes on to say, and look what you put it up. You're talking about Genesis chapter 2. What do you put that up for you? I'm going to read that. I know you're into the Adamite, the Yakub story, innit? I'll just quickly put this up. Genesis chapter 2. Right. It's got here. Genesis chapter 2. Let's read from verse 4. And it says, I haven't forgotten the question on the Neanderthal. And Genesis chapter 2 says, and Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 reads, "These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God, Yahweh Elohim, made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God, Yahweh Elohim, had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground." So, but it just said in Genesis chapter 1 that God said, "Let us make man in our image." So how come it's in Genesis chapter 2 now? Unless this is another creation of man. So man to work the ground, to work the field. Okay. And it's got here, and this is a verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Let's just say this, that this Genesis chapter 2 is all mismatched. It doesn't correlate to Genesis chapter 1. It's all over the place. And Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, it's actually, there's a portion missing from before you hit verse 2, and that is in Jeremiah chapter, I think it's chapter 4, verse 23 to 27. So you've got portions of the Bible from Jeremiah. If you read that, I think it's Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 23 to 27, that's to fit in after Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. They're taking that portion out. So it's all over the place. So it kind of reads here, and it goes on here. And the Lord, verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Okay, let's quickly jump over. Okay, so it's got here, according to this, there was, verse 5 says, there was not a man to till the ground, okay, to be a slave. And if you go to verse 11 to 12, and it reads, and then 11, the name of the first is Pison, and 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which encompasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. We know Havilah is in Ethiopia. And it's got here 12, and the gold of that land is good. There's Bdellium and the onyx stone. Now the master points out, verse 11, the name of the first river of the 4 is Pison. That is it which encompasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. 12, and the gold of that land is good. Why is God, or why is the mention of the gold of that land is good? What is the significance of gold? Because they wanted to mine, they were mining the fields. Man was created not just to till the ground, also mine the gold fields to get the gold, to transport it back, to replenish the that planetoid craft called Nibiru. Apart from being slaves, man to till the ground, which in Arabic the word is Abdallah, slave of Allah. Let's say servant, but really slave of Allah. Apart from that, to be slaves, they were created to be food as well. Because the Anunnaki, or the disagreeable ones amongst them, the carnivorous ones, were eating the Pleiadians, so they had to create another food source, and that's why the Adamites were created as well, to be a food source. Not only to be slaves, to be a food source. When they get hungry, they have to do something. They want something to eat, don't they? You know what I mean? They want something to eat. They get hungry, so they use the Adamites. So, and it still continues up to this day, 2024. Okay.
So, in the Bible, okay. So we have these Pleiadians,
Yeah.
right? And we have another being called, what the other being?
The Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
which one is referred to as God or Elohim in the Bible?
Yeah. All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question, because we have used the word Elohim, which is Hebrew. Okay? But during that time, let's say the time of Abraham. Okay, even Adam. Abraham's language that he spoke, who would he be calling upon as deity or God? He wouldn't have used the word Elohim, Yahweh, or Yahweh Elohim. In his tonguage, the word he would use would be Anunnaki. Those beings who came to earth, it came down to earth in groups of 50 from Anu. That's the name, Anunnaki. Anu, the heavenly one, the Na, which is to come down, the Na, which is 50, and the Ki to earth. Those who came down in groups of 50 from Anu to earth, they refer to as the Anunnaki. So it's not a race, it's just a title that you know who these beings are from. And plus you have the Pleiadians as well, plus the other beings as well. So the Elohim now is just the Hebrew term of pertaining to these beings. So in the tablets that they were plagiarized from, you'll see the word Anunnaki. They call it Elohim, or they use the word God in the singular to trick you if you don't know the language. If you know Hebrew, those people who know Hebrew know that you have Elohim, you have the Aleph, the Lamed, the Hey, then you've got the Yod and the Meme, the Im. The Yod and the Meme donate plurality, more than two. So you've got Elohim, the singular would be Elo, and the individual who comes, those of the Elohim, you're part of the Elohim. You as an Elohim, if you were part of the Elohim, you coming out from that group, you'll be referred to as an Elo of the Elohim. And in representation of Anu, you'll be referred to as an El. You have El, Elo, and Elohim or Elohim. Okay. It's all in the language. When you know the language, you'll be able to see much clearer and you'll be able to see much further. You see? Okay. I hope that helps. Regarding the Homo, Neanderthal, sorry, Zamal, cannot find the information at hand. Let's see if I can mark it in there. No, I can't find the information at hand. No. Apologies for that. I would. I have to move on to the next question. Got to keep it real. Any more questions?
Another question on Zoom from Maat.
Okay.
What is the meaning behind everyone having a unique fingerprint and palm marks to the point where even identical twins also have different fingerprints? Who or what's giving us these fingerprints and palm marks, and what is the reason behind it?
Okay, right. It's quite simple. Means of identification. That's what it is, really. That's it. And who gave to us? Well, it's something that's, yeah, I have to say, the higher forces. It's just a means of identification by of natural nature. That's it. No. Okay.
Another question, this time on Clubhouse from Keisha.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What advancements? That one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Should I read it out? Or?
Yeah. Read out, please. Down.
What advancements have been made since the master teacher's abduction? And what does this have to do with the advancement of the tribe and Baba?
Right. Now, so the reason why I'm pausing, because I want to get it out in my mind of how to say it correctly. Right. When we talk about advancement, before there is physical advancement, there's mental advancement. I want to read something to you all. It's coming from this book I got here called The Nine Ball. Where do you find it? Well, I'm going to put it anyway. Just read this. Very good question. That's what the class is all about, right? Let me just read this. Time 9 o'clock. Okay. Right. Let me just read this here. Right. This is from the Nine Ball, reading from page 12. I'm not even. I have read the Nine Ball. Keisha, okay, well done. What we're going to do is I just want to read. The reason why I want to read this is so we get at a point of the class title. What advancements have we made? Right. I'm just going to find it down. I'll read it from here. This is what section is this? How on introduction to 9. Nine reason. Right, let's read from here. It's got here. Right. I think it's the one that I wanted to read. Let me start reading here. It's got 9 reasons. Right. Okay. 15. This is it's called 9 reasons, page 12. Number 15 reads: show us a person or race who has lost his or its ability to reason soundly, and we will show you a person or race in degradation as compared to the highest standard of nature. You have to remember that when we say reason being the highest form of mental processing. Always remember that. We have thinking and we have reasoning. Thinking is a straight line mental process. And when we say reasoning, we talk about a circular mental process, ability to process information, which when we say circle, we talk about infinite. Okay. So show us a person or race who has lost his or its ability to reason soundly, and we will show you a person or race in degradation as compared to the highest standards of nature. There are 7 senses: seeing, feeling, tasting, hearing, smelling, thinking, and reasoning. What divides the animal world from the world of Ptah, Ethiopian race, is the woolly-head person's capability to reason soundly when that person is in his or her right mind. That is, when the Ethiopian is in his or her own knowledge and own cycle. We have our own knowledge, we have right knowledge, we have 9 knowledge, and we are in our own cycle, which we are in this day and time. Hear this now. The highest form of reason is 9 reason. This particular 9-ball count 1 liberation information written by the master teacher was written in 1971. What's that? 51 years ago, more than that, 53 years ago, whatever it was. This is what he originally came to give us during those days and times, but we was not ready for it. We didn't want to be asking questions about Jesus and Muhammad. So he said the highest form of reason is 9 reason. 16. Mankind and all other animals can exercise the first 6 senses, but only a top kind is capable of experiencing 9 reason. The 7th sense. Mankind has the capability to do heavy thinking, but 9 reasoning is above the level of mankind's mentality. And this is why mankind admires and worships all intelligent levels 7 and above. So when the partner Babylonian says there are not 7 senses, it's got here mankind, he's talking about Caucasians, but that kind of man has the capability to do heavy thinking, but 9 reasoning is above the level of mankind's mentality, and this is why mankind admires and worships all intelligent levels 7 and above. Yes, 6 ether, 7 ether, 8 ether, 9 ether. Mankind intelligence stops at 6 because the mentality of the animal world ranges from 0 to 6. Mankind is the head and king of the animal world. The animal world is the zodiac in flesh and blood. A zodiac, the word zodiac means existence and unity of animal. The word zoo, animal, and arc means circle, animal circle, zodiac. 17, thinking, it says it here, thinking is the straight line mental process of the chemicals of brain matter, whereas reasoning is the circle mental process of the chemicals of brain matter. The straight line mental process, this is the Keisha's question, we're coming to, we're reaching a point here. It's got here, and somebody asked a question here, how will we know the real advancement? Let's come and answer that in a minute. Okay, but 18. Reasoning is thinking above the animal level. 9 reason is the highest form of mental process. 9 reason is the mind of the original creator to true stars, the suns. When you say the true, because you know stars are suns and suns are stars, and when you say suns, the word we use is, there's 2 words we use. One is shamash, and the other word we use is rei. Rei, or the Most High. And the Rei, we also must not forget Rei Tat, the feminine forces. So there's Rei Tat, the feminine, and there's Rei, the masculine. We use the word Rei as pertains to suns. We're talking about the etheric suns, the non-physical suns, okay? So it's got a 9 reason is the mind of the original creator, the true stars, the suns. 9 reason is the elevator of Ethiopian minds. The ether utopians, that's ether beings, 9 ether beings. And 9 knowledge, the knowledge that 9 reason produces, is the liberator of our mind. We've already broken down, already gave the definition of what to liberate means, to be free of those opposing forces. And 9 reason, 9 knowledge is that, which is utilized to liberate our minds. So it's got to read that again. 9 reason is the elevator of Ethiopian minds, and 9 knowledge, the knowledge that 9 reason produces, is the liberator of our minds, and vice versa. A person sees, hears, feels, tastes, and smells with his or her mind via the nervous system, which is the network and tentacle of the brain. I'll quickly jump down to 19. Ethiopians, our ability to reason soundly, called 9 reason, has returned. And 9 reason is the emancipator, because It determines for us what is right or wrong, true or false, and thereby provides the correct information necessary for our liberation guidance. Only those who can reason ninely and those who can understand and follow nine reasoning will survive World War III and the future of the Ethiopian race, because only those who can reason ninely or follow nine reason are intelligent enough to do what is necessary for survival. Nine reason is the Ethiopian in his and her right mind. Now, the reason why I said that is because when the question is asked, what advancement the master has advanced our race with language, Wu-Sabat, culture, dance, dress, etc., etc. Okay, what advance have you made? What is that in order for us to advance physically, we need to advance mentally, as we said. And in order to advance mentally means we've got to have a higher input of information. We need to have a higher mindset. Once that mindset has reached, as our minds are growing, so should also our environment or what we are producing grow. Or as our minds advance, use that word, as our minds advance, so should everything else advance with it as well. Our environment, our structures, everything should advance with it. One or two men, you need more than one or two men there to help perpetuate the process. So we need enough people to carry out what is necessary towards physical advancement. So physical advancement entails this one thing called unity. Without unification, how can we advance? Also, we understand and understand that not everyone amongst us is going to make the grade, but we need enough people to, the word we use is synergize. Synergy means when two or more forces combine to produce an outcome greater than if done individually. This goes back to unification as well. So at the same time, we have to take into consideration, as we said earlier on in class, that there are forces at work that is saying, the higher forces at work to say the time is not ready. Because when it does, because as we said earlier on, everything happens by cycles, circles, and nature's time, not mankind's time, but nature's time. So once our minds have advanced up to a certain level, that should be exhibited by way of our environment. The time is going to come whereby our achievements will seem as though it has been achieved overnight. It's going to happen. Okay. So the question is, what advancements have we made? We'll just look around us and ask ourselves, in order for something to be called true, it has to be confirmed. But the Master has given us everything that we need to advance our mind, and as it advances, so should everything else move with it. And as we said before, the Master gave us the template in Tamare. And that is what one man could do. However, it was just that, a template. And those structures are going to come once again, but it's going to be much more, be in a grandeur state. Never before since the pyramids. It's going to happen. Want to say something, Jamal?
Just quickly, it's just a certain amount of number. What was the number on that?
Oh, what's that?
You said it's going to take a certain amount
Oh,
of
numbers, yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
is there a number to that, or is it?
Well, the master did the number that he put was 144,000. The number he put. Some people say, oh, that it is allegorical because 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 4 is 9. So let us say 9 ether beings, but he never put he doesn't say 144,000. You see, but if one man, Panda Babi Ananam, could achieve what he achieved, imagine what 9 others could achieve. It'd be a force that is unstoppable, because anything and everything that they imagine to do, they will be able to do. And that is the Nimrod story in Genesis chapter 11, from verse 1 reading down. That's what it's saying, that Nimrod's people, they were unified because they had the one language. And from that one language, anything and everything that they imagined to do, they were able to do. And that caused a disturbance to the Lord God, Yahweh Elohim. Because what it is that the one language that they had was called Nawapic. Today we call it Misbatia or Sabaic. And what was happening is that by them speaking that one language, it cut off the broadcast that the Yahweh Elohim, or we should say Enlil and his boy, because you know they're two brothers, Enki and Enlil, the Enlilites and his sons, they didn't have the best interest of humanity at heart. Enki had more compassion. But so remember, this was in Mesopotamia. But Nimrod, he is the son of Cush, was from Africa, and Nimrod was taught Misbatil on the pattern, the language of his father, and the science, and came back into what they call the land of Alna, Mesopotamia, and them areas there, Shinar, they use in the Genesis, Shinar, and taught his people the sciences. They obviously had sciences much more higher than the rest of the folks in Mesopotamia, because he used to have to build a tower, they call it the Tower of Babel, which was an antennae to communicate with and to Anu, the heavenly one of the Anunnaki, Anu. So it cut off by them learning this one language, Nawapic, or Napatan, or Sabian, Nispatia. The telepathic broadcast from Enlil and his sons was not penetrating them, it wasn't influencing them. It was basically going against the will of what these gods wanted them to be under. So because of that, because they're no longer influenced, they had free thinking, and they were just building cities, they're building structures. And that's why they said, and God came down, let me just read it. God came down, saw what the men had built, and it caused him a bit distress. So he went back up to the skies, went back to the crafts, told his sons, look what they're doing, let's come down there, let's create chaos, let's create dissension amongst them. And they left off from which they built, meaning they never completed their task because they became back under the spell. Now, in the Black Book, the master teacher relays the same story, relays the same story by saying that once we got our language, that's the seal, and the telepathic influences that we're receiving by way of the language, the English language, by way of the media, by way of the environment that we are unaware of, that will be broken. That will be broken, you see. But the question is, what advancements have we made? The master teacher's incarceration. What advances have we made? Let's just say that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, you see. Never mind, Keisha, never mind. Just say you have no legitimate answers about the topic or the reason. Well, The reason is basically because of that, because there is a time, a place, and a cycle. And it's going to happen, whether people want to believe it or not. There is there energy, there is another, however, we need more stores, etc. Not talking to you, I'm talking about the general, this, I know, okay. Okay, so it's got here. Okay, let me just quickly say this then. Got 5 minutes left. Right here. Let me quickly broke it down. Okay. And quickly, before we finish, I just want to read something here. And this all pertains to why about the advancement. And this is from an update. It's got here from September 17th, 2013. One, she asked the question as to why we, the people, are not working together for the upliftment of our tribe and working toward your freedom to your specifications. The master teacher responded as follows, and this is what the master teacher is saying here. I hope this answers Keisha's question. There is a mental reservoir where all knowledge is housed. We are all tapped into it. Now, there are other forces that are broadcasting to us as well. The master teacher explains further. Now, name a new super genius, the likes of Tesla, Nikola Tesla is, and Einstein. I responded, I cannot recall any. Why aren't you hearing about super geniuses anymore? That is because there are none. He went on further to say, they were cut off from their overlords, the Pleiadians, the Anunnaki, who were informing them of the technology as we see it today. Let's take Tesla, for instance, whom they killed. He, Tesla, was formulating devices for the express purpose of contacting extraterrestrial beings. He was noted as having been the first man in Earth's history to record intelligently controlled signals from outer space. In fact, he was found to have a great deal of radio frequency equipment in his labs. He had receiving stations and transmitters as well. Interestingly enough, his labs were in Colorado. As you know, our current AC, alternating current system, was one of his inventions. That's a lot here. Okay, I've got to drop down here. 2, what the master teacher explained was, because we are receiving their broadcast via the television, radio, and other transmitting device, we are no longer receiving the true tones, tune, to make our link to our ancestors who broadcast at certain times only. You know about the 939, right? That's it. These are the times that the master teacher says that we should be doing our chants at 939, 9 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 9 at night. Okay, and you want to do the shadow hour period, 3 in the morning as well, 3 a.m. He explained that we need to be singing the new song in the exact key at the exact times in space, or we would not link up and miss the Nazaru signals being broadcasted to meet our own Sarat to reopen our etheric way. The Sarat, the etheric cord, is talking about the umbilical cord, etheric umbilical cord, to reopen our ethereal way, the pathway to home in the heavens, Nirvana, abode of bliss. We are allowing them, the Kakasu, to block the frequency of Nadaru by constantly tuning into their frequencies. As long as we keep tuning into their frequencies, how could we advance? How could there be any advancement if you're continuously tuning in to those frequencies? Okay. They programmed us and our children, and they are trying to broadcast from the mental reservoir. We are no longer vibrating on FAC. They are broadcasting things like you need to, I was talking about the Nathara now. We no longer vibrating on FAC. They, Panatharu, are broadcasting things like, you need to be in control. You must have power. Then your ego kicks in and you start sabotaging one another for power and control. He said, the shadow people amongst you want power and control. When they lose control or feel like they are not in the know or in the knowledge, they start to recycle thoughts. I say recycle because you're not creating or even recreating, because creation is something that takes place for the first time. Can you think of a thought that has not been already been thought of? A new color perhaps? No. So you are recycling thoughts. He goes on to say that.
I wanted to ask, could the sister, Bassett or Hersey, could they respond on the topic? I would like to hear their point of view also. From experience.
Is that Bastet?
Yes, Bastet.
Bastet?
Or Hersey.
Hersey? You want Hersey to talk?
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
About what advancements have we made within 22 years? Like, what is your views on it being around?
Okay, I think, well, a few have already been mentioned in terms of Wu-Sabat, in terms of we have everything in order to form our nation. However, we're not a nation until we have our land. We're not a nation until we come together and work in to have our economic structures set up, our schools, all the things that we need to be a nation, we have yet to get. And that comes with what the brother Hatu said, which is the love and unity and the mindset. We have, and because we have so many of us with all the skills needed to form this nation, that if you read the Master Secrets, A Nation of Our Own, it all explains it in there. And if you read, if you are able to get a hold of the 33 commandments, it explains it all in there. But in terms of the 22 years, we have been dealing with the focus has been on the release of our master teacher. Now, his case is unprecedented. There is nothing like it. So a lot of our focus and attention has been on the release of our master teacher. However, that shouldn't take away from the point of we still have a nation to build. And that's where the love and the unity comes in. And so a lot of us are still working on ourselves in terms of our introspection, cleaning ourselves inside out and outside in, so that we can embark on this unity that is needed to create our nation. It's again, that's so important. So if you read Patarak 30 Spirits, it goes into that. And then if you read the 9, it then says, because of this, we need to get it correct. We need to correct ourselves because we've also got a legacy to leave for our children. If we don't do it as the adults, do you know what I mean? Like, this could have a knock-on effect on the next generation and so on and so forth. So that's my take on it. I'm out that.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Greetings.
Oh, greetings.
Yeah, I would like to ask a question, yeah? in future, yeah, are there going to be any female student teachers that are going to be teaching, sharing their knowledge on Zoom?
That's quite an easy question. The answer is yes.
Okay. And also, go on, carry on.
Yeah, they'll be running the show.
Oh, that's good. I'll shook. Okay, and also, I'd like to ask a next question before you close. In Wu-Sabat, yeah, from your understanding and in your mind, what is a winner and what is a loser?
A winner and a loser.
Yeah, in Wu-Sabat.
Right. That's a good question. What comes to mind is the master teacher says there are two types of people. There's what we call overachievers and underachievers. Okay. There's no winners or losers. We have amongst us overachievers and underachievers. The overachievers are those who are vivid in their mental processing, and the underachievers are those who are vague in terms of mental processing. The more vivid you are as an overachiever, you will make advancements. The underachievers who are vague will never make advancements unless they start to become or elevate into the degree of an overachiever. You see, so there's no winners or losers as such. The master teacher puts it as overachievers and underachievers. You also got those who are in between. So we also got those who are proactive. We got those who are reactive. And you got those who are inactive. So it depends which category do you want to put yourself in. Or which category do you fit in? Are you an underachiever? Are you an overachiever? Or are you just in the middle? Are you proactive, reactive, or inactive? The proactive are those of what you refer to as your leaders or your overachievers. Okay, the inactive, they are those who are unconscious. Okay, so I hope that helped there, Samuel.
Okay. Nafar. You know the term Nafar? What does that mean?
What's the word?
Nafar.
How do you spell that?
You know Nafar. You use the term Nafar in Wu-Sabat.
Nafar. Oh, Nafar. Oh, that means beauty.
Beauty, yeah?
Beauty and Nafar, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, Samuel. With that being said, that we have to we are over the limit. Oh, hang on. You got time for one more question? Okay, one more question. One last question, then we have to pull the shutters down.
Use the term, nobody use the term, I've had it a number of times. Come together and love ourselves and come together. What does it mean in practice? Because it has many meanings.
Yeah. The masters, yeah.
The Superman's language.
Yeah.
That a child can understand.
Yeah.
Primary 6, 5, okay, that primary really. Okay.
Yeah, but
simple language.
Yeah, simple. Basically,
together a lot.
That's it. Yeah, practically means that let's work for, of, and by each other in simple terms. I shouldn't like you to do business with you. But it does help. You know what I mean? But let's come together for the greater good of the people. That's what it is. Work for, of, and by each other. The thing is that we're not going to like everybody on the planet Earth or our fellow brother and sister, but it does help. But love and unity, working for, of, and by each other, that's love and unity. That's okay? Yeah. With that, Moisar family, we'd like to, before we shut, we'd like to say thank you all for attending class today. I hope that we've answered all your questions. We tried to do the best we can, a time frame that we've been given. And first of all, we'd like to say thank you all for taking the time out for coming to class, participating on Zoom, Clubhouse, and here at Nashak, 101 Church Recording. Until the next time, Next class, next week will be our last class for 2020. For the next class will be starting, I think, the first Saturday in January. Okay. So next week class will be the 21st. I think that'll be the last class for 2024. Won't be yeah.
Sorry, Zamal, before we go,
Right.
just say something, because it really does pertain to the title of the room, which is what advancements have we made in the 20 years. So it's just to let you know, for those that are in the UK, if you would like to join Wu-Sabat, then you can make contact via the website. There's a members area that you can log into and just get the newcomer's guide and a number of different items where it can guide you on Wu-Sabat, and also how you could get involved with the store and then the chat. We do need some more admin. We need support in the store and a number of different items. So that all plays a part to our advancement in Wu-Sabat. So again, if you go to the chat website, thechat.co.uk, go to the members area, the newcomers guide, and like I said, a number of different items there. And then we also have set up an admin WhatsApp group. So if you've got any questions in regards to how to become a member, how to join, what events we have, etc., you can just you can go there. All right, tell that me so.
Okay, we start our come. Thank you all for coming. Till next time, of course, give and take care. Or do.